Health is more important than fitness. I know I've said this a couple times in recent videos, but it is the truth. It is better to be out of shape, but a little more healthy, at least on the inside, than to be physically fit and healthy on the outside, but to be unhealthy on the inside. There's obviously some overlap there, but there's also discrepancy. I was a lot fatter this time about 5 to 7 years ago. In college, I was never lean. I say college because it's approximately 5 to 7 years ago. However, I had the best internal health that I've ever had, ever in my entire life. And, some people may say, well, why don't you just go back to that weight? Why don't you go back to that eating pattern and do all those same habits? The thing is, I can't go to those same habits because my body can't, number one, tolerate those kinds of foods anymore. But number two, my body can't tolerate just the change of routine anymore because I've developed a lot of secondary health conditions, namely sleep apnea. I can't eat certain foods anymore. I can't consume caffeine anymore. I can't eat a lot of animal products anymore. I still have animal products. I just have to consume them in moderation. I can't eat, like a full bag of steak every day like I used to do back in my bulking days. This past bulk that I did in 2025, winter of 2025, I think really did a number on me. I'm glad that I was able to gain some strength and muscle in the process. However, in that process, I really think I did something to my body once again, and in a negative way. I'm talking about internally, because my health has been so bad. This has been the worst health I think I've had in my entire life. I would say I wouldn't even know if I would call myself functional anymore, at least when it comes to just, basic, living conditions. Like, my gastrointestinal health has been so horrendous recently. And yeah, I don't eat 100% healthy. However, there have been days, only 2 days in the past couple of months, so this is not a regular occurrence, it's not every day, where, I have nearly, thrown up because of my indigestion and constipation. And part of it is because I think the foods that I'm eating. Part of it also is the fact that I was trying to gain some weight this year, and maybe it was not the best idea to do that this year. However, I did it anyways, and I still got something in the process. I got stronger lifts, which is, enjoyable in the moment. However, afterwards, it's not been as fun. So I think a theme for next year is going to be like my New Year's resolution is to focus more on internal health and maybe take a year off, maybe not do. I've pretty much been doing a bulk, what I call mini bulk, every year ever since I ever started lifting, except for a couple years here and there. And I think this year is time to take a break from that. It was a good experience, but like I said, health is way more important than fitness.